Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Indie Zone. My name is Kathy. It is Sunday, June 14th, 2026, here in the United States. It is Flag Day. We are 20 days away, exactly, from the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 2026. 2 days before that, 18 days away from now, will be 1 year to the day that Brian C. Kohberger stood up in open court, raised his right hand, swore to tell the truth under penalty of perjury, and changed his plea to guilty of the 5 first-degree felonies that he was about to stand trial on, where both sides seemed poised to be heading to trial, where the state of Idaho would be tasked with the obligation to produce evidence in a court of law, going to every element of every count that was brought against Mr. Kohberger by operation of indictment and produce evidence at beyond the reasonable doubt. Evidentiary standard, the highest that there is, that he and he alone in this capital case was responsible for what happened to Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan on November 13th, 2022. It's almost been a year to the day that the jury trial was canceled. And this case is still largely under seal, with the exception of a select few documents from January through July 2025 that Judge Hippler decided to unseal, with more documents sealed from the public beyond July of 2025 going into this year, 2026. Nothing has even been considered to be unsealed for the years of 2023, 2024, and the final days of 2022, because this case started the day that the application for that warrant was applied for and obtained on the strength of Detective Brett Payne's affidavit of probable cause. That is the warrant affidavit. There were multiple documents that were sealed from the public during the more than 2.5 years that this case proceeded. And the question is, why? Why was so much about this case behind closed doors? The evidence, jury instructions were under seal. Stipulations between the two parties, what they stipulated to, under seal. Hearings were held behind closed doors from the very beginning of the case. Sometimes they weren't even noticed to the public before the hearings occurred, as what happened when Judge Marshall convened a hearing to address some concerns that there might have been a conflict of defense counsel representing Mr. Kohberger when her office also represented a close family member to one of the victims. That hearing was completely sealed to the public. There was no notice of hearing. Then there's a gag order that was in place during almost the entire pendency of the case. Went into effect day 4 in early January of 2023 and was not rescinded until the media coalition came into the case, asked to be heard, filed a motion to set aside that gag order after Mr. Kohberger pled guilty, raising the First Amendment. Judge Hippler agreed, set aside the gag order. But as to their second motion filed July of 2025 to immediately unseal the case, the court said no. Mr. Kohberger has been in prison for almost a year. This case has been closed since the day he went to prison, and that is July 23rd, 2025. He waived his appellate rights in his plea deal. There has never been a whisper of a co-conspirator, alternative perpetrator, accessory before, accessory after the fact. The question remains, why was this case so closed to the public? Why is it still so closed to the public a year after he pled guilty. We're going to continue to monitor this case as we have from the beginning and report to you if and when other documents start to become unsealed to the public. Thank you for joining us here today.